This is Matthew 24, part 18. Matthew 24, verse 32, Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. As the fig tree was used by Jesus to designate that Jewish nation, it is remarkable that this nation has reformed in 1948. I'm not saying that it is remarkable as a thing of God, because clearly it is an antichrist nation, a body of people that continues to deny the Lord Jesus Christ and which is opposed to Christianity, except, I might add, for the brand of Christianity that supports Zionism. And these people, these Christian Zionists, are pawns in their hands. They are being used for anti-Christian purposes, supporting that which Jesus Christ has forever separated from his people. We looked at the clear fulfillment of these verses in part 14, but again, it is remarkable that we have this fruitless fig tree springing up in the same place that it was originally cut down. It is here before us again, minus the temple, of course, and as well, it has leaves, meaning that it looks like it's the real thing. Many Christians say it is the real thing. These are the people of God. And the Jews say the same thing of themselves, at least many do. But still there is no fruit. It is barren. There's no kingdom fruit, chief amongst which is the new covenant from which we have Christianity. Now, according to Jesus Christ, trees that don't bring forth fruit should be cut down. They will be cut down. Luke 13, verse 6, He spake also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard. Remember, the vineyard is the Lord's kingdom, which is Israel. And he came and sought fruit thereon, and found none. Then said he unto the dresser of his vineyard, Behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and find none. Cut it down. Why cumbereth it the ground? The 3 years being referred to here are the ministry years of Jesus Christ. Verse 8, And he answering said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig it about and dung it, and if it bear fruit, well, and if not, then after that thou shalt cut it down. Earlier, John the Baptist said in Matthew 3 verse 10, And now also the axe is laid under the root of the trees. We know what this is talking about now, don't we? Therefore, every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. This cutting down of the Jewish nation and casting it into the fire occurred in a spectacular fashion in AD 70 as prophesied by Jesus Christ. Well, let's extrapolate this down to the present time. What can we conclude from all of this is in store for this nation today? Good tidings or evil? It's very easy to work this out. Nationally speaking, they still reject Jesus Christ. Nothing has changed. The tree has leaves but no fruit. Let us recall Matthew 21 verse 19, And he, Jesus, saw a fig tree in the way. He came to it and found nothing thereon but leaves only. And he said unto it, Let no fruit grow on thee henceforward forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. We must be honest with what Jesus said. This declaration was one of permanency. This fig tree is incapable of bearing fruit. As many people listening to this video would probably know, it was the British and Allied forces, the literal descendants of the Israel people of the Bible, who liberated Jerusalem from the Turks at the end of 1917. This in turn paved the way for European Ashkenazim Jews to come into Palestine en masse, and they were determined to have the place for themselves. Esau, or the Idumean Jews, were among these people. The reconstitution of the Jewish nation in 1948 came about after a terror campaign waged by the Jews against their British benefactors, and seems to have fulfilled what we read in Ezekiel 11 verse 14. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel holy, are they unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, Get ye far from the Lord, unto us is this land given in possession. Note, there are two groups of people in verse 15. Ezekiel's kindred, his brethren, those of the house of Israel. And then there is a second group who are called the inhabitants of Jerusalem, who say to the Israel people, Get out of the place, this land is ours. This is what happened in 1946 to 1947, 1948. The inhabitants of Jerusalem, those which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, said to the British, the Israel people of old, Ezekiel's kinsmen, get out, this place is ours, and they terrorized them and they killed them. And I think in particular of the bombing of the Hotel David. The Jews have been determined to take back the kingdom that Jesus took from them. What do you think will be the outcome of all of this? In saying this, I note that the list seems to me to be growing of political commentators who are now prepared to say that the Jewish people in control of the Israeli state actually have no ancestral tie to the land. They're proselytes. It's the religion of Judaism that makes a Jew and not racial ancestry to Judah. I find that this is very interesting, particularly at the present time as another huge war looms in the Middle East, with the United States of America apparently preparing to bomb Iran at the behest of the Jews and with the support of Christian Zionists who should know better and who should be instructing the government in the ways of righteousness, but instead believe in a perverted gospel in relation to this particular matter. My view, it's going to end with their destruction, and what is written in Malachi 1 verse 4 may see its complete and final fulfillment. It says, Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we shall return and build the desolate places. We're coming back, we're going to take the place again. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Most Christian folk seem to have no idea who they are dealing with the Jews in the Middle East. They are not the Israel people of Scripture. They are called Israel, but they are not. They are masquerading. And furthermore, their land, their place is called the border of wickedness. And Malachi said, They are the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. It's not going to end well for that nation in the Middle East. This is my firm opinion. Therefore, when we come back to Matthew 24, verses 32 to 33, and the fig tree with leaves but no fruit, to the extent that this does seem to echo down to our present day and age with the modern day Jewish nation in the Middle East, then this can only mean one thing. This nation will be destroyed again and not saved. It will be destroyed completely, never to be resurrected again. Now I'm going to move along to the next verses. Matthew 24, verse 40. Then shall be two in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. The ones that were taken were the ones who the Romans put to death in the siege of Jerusalem. However, the context of mentioning the two in the field in verse 40 and the two grinding at the mill in verse 41 is in verse 42, which is to watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. The first century Christians were not to give up their jobs, whatever their occupations were, they had to continue in them, but they were also to be watchful. Verse 43 goes on, But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. This coming as a thief in relation to the destruction of Jerusalem is also used in the scriptures relating to Christ's last coming. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 2, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. 2 Peter 3 verse 10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Now, before anyone who is persuaded in the preterist position takes me on these two scriptures, I am going to say that it is possible to take these two verses and argue that they relate to the destruction of Jerusalem. However, it is simply not possible to do the same with what we have in the book of Revelation, which uses the very same language from Matthew 24, Revelation 3 verse 3, if therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Revelation 16 verse 15, behold, I come as a thief, blessed is he that watcheth. And if you believe that I am mistaken on my statement concerning the book of Revelation, then once again I direct you to consider my series called An Examination of Preterism and Other Things, and that will help you understand the basis of preterism, when it came about, who brought it about, why it came about, among many other things, and also what the alternative view is on apocalyptic interpretation, which is most conveniently ignored by both the preterists and the futurists. Matthew 24 gives the precedent that would also follow later, that Jesus in his final coming, will also come as a thief. And it's not that when he comes it's going to be a secret and that he will secretly rapture the church out of here, as the futurists vainly believe, but rather it is the fact that his coming will be in an hour as we think not. We don't know the day nor the hour that he will come, but when he does come, as it was in the case of Jerusalem at the time, everyone will know it, even much more so this time. 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. This never happened at AD 70, but it will happen at his final coming, also likened as him coming as a thief. This is wonderful. In the meantime, we must be working. We must work for a living. Occupy till he come. We must be about our Father's business while being watchful. Matthew 24 flows right into Matthew 25, which gives us the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. The 5 wise had sufficient oil in their lamps. The 5 foolish had run out of oil, and they had to go and buy more. And while they were away, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. And afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. The summation of this is Matthew 25 verse 13, watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. This is the same exhortation found in Matthew 24. Note, the parable is in the setting of a marriage, which looks forward to that which is detailed in another prophecy, the one in Revelation chapter 19. And contrary to the preterist position, this marriage supper did not happen in AD 70. It is still yet future. The book of Revelation was written after the destruction of Jerusalem, which I have shown to be the case in my series called An Examination of Preterism and Other Things. And as well, the book of Revelation is dealing with other aspects of prophecy, which I have detailed in my other series called Revelation Remastered. In addition, I have a series called The Bride, the Lamb's Wife, which ties into this marriage parable, and there is plenty to study in connection with this, and it all lines up. In Matthew 25, verse 14, we come to another parable. The kingdom of heaven is as a man travelling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. This man then eventually returns. The servant who had been given 5 talents had gained 5 more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Wonderful. The one who was given 2 talents gained 2 more. And his Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Wonderful. The one that had been given 2 talents gained 2 more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. The one who had been given 1 talent did absolutely nothing with it, not the least bit. Notwithstanding the generosity of his master, the servant had a negative view of him, and his master was wroth. And his Lord said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant. And then he said, For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Matthew 25 continues in verse 31, When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats, and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the King say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Then Matthew 25 concludes with what I will summarize as how we treat others. And this is very telling of our Christian faith. I'm only going to read a few verses here. Verse 40, And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. In verse 45, Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. Now, I do understand and appreciate that the preterists take Matthew 25 to be dealing exclusively with the same topic as Matthew 24, and I get that. However, I'm not confined to preterism theology, which has all of prophecy over and done with in the 1st century AD, and therefore looks for nothing more, anticipates nothing more, and most unfortunately searches for nothing beyond this. As well, having regard for the wonderful Revelation prophecy which covers off on prophetic matters post AD 70, I see in Matthew 25 that Jesus may well be looking beyond his coming in judgment in AD 70 to his final coming. Matthew 24 is clearly a fulfilled prophecy relating to the destruction of Jerusalem. It's my view that when we take this alongside of Matthew 25, we put that great prophecy into an even greater context. It is interesting to note that the Jameson Fawcett Brown Bible commentary on Matthew chapter 24 simply contains one sentence for the whole chapter, which says, Christ's prophecy of the destruction of Jerusalem and warning suggested by it to prepare for his second coming. Now, it's not as though Jameson Fawcett Brown didn't understand what Matthew chapter 24 relates to, because they extensively set out the details of the fulfillment of the prophecy in their commentary on Mark chapter 13 verses 1 to 37. They clearly knew all about the prophecy and its fulfillment in the destruction of Jerusalem and its temple, and they also clearly saw in it a portent for the end of this age and the last coming of Jesus Christ. And they were not somehow thinking about a rebuilt Jewish temple in the Middle East and all the other baggage that comes with futurism, so you can dismiss any of those thoughts. And I'll add that this does seem reasonable to me. And that's the end of part 18.